G'day, how you all going? This is Ian Harris from Australia here, aka Ianapolis, your acrylic guru. Today I'm going to do a long asked for request. I've been asked for quite a while to do a portrait of Steve, so today's video is going to be a portrait of Steve. It's not going to be so much a tutorial, this one, it's just going to be me going through the process of how I would create a painting of Steve, okay? So join me and Steve. I'll just show you on my monitor here what the picture looks like. Okay, this is a photo that Reese took of Steve in the front window there. He was always looking outside the window on a warm day. Now he's sitting on the lounge and some green curtain and blinds, but in the painting I'm not going to put that. I'm just going to put the actual picture of Steve and have like a abstract background. So just for those who want to paint along with this anyway, you're more than welcome. So the canvas is a 30 centimeters by 42 centimeters, and I'll have the colors going up the screen there for you so you can find your colors. Or any cat that you're going to paint this way, they might have totally different colors. All right, so I am not doing a lot of blending in this, so it's going to be quite a different procedure. I've done a lot of studying, and his colours, well, actually come over here and have a look at the colours I've mixed up to match his skin, his hair, his nose and his ears. Okay, what I've done, I've gone and mixed up some various colours, matching it reasonably close to the reference picture that I'm using, and I've mixed up some colours here, and I've written down the colours that I've used to mix these up for this particular painting, okay, like raw umber and black, and I've added white to get this, and they're all indicating like his ear colour, his forehead colour, his cheek colour, the shadow in his cheek, the nose colour, then the depth of the colour in his nose. Okay, down here on my palette I'm going to start with his, where can you see the monitor? I'm going to start with his ear, alright? So come down here, I've got my burnt sienna, my raw umber, my mid yellow, and also some white. So I've got to create that colour that I'm after for his internal part of his ear. I'll get some of the raw umber mixed into this burnt sienna. This has no mediums in it at all, no retarders, no nothing. Okay, we'll get some mid yellow. Mix in there, bit more mid yellow, and this painting I feel is going to be have a lot to do with a lot of mixing. And now I'll get a bit of white. Now that's obviously the colour I want. I want to have different values of this now, lighter and darker. So I'm going to start with his inner part of his ear, looking at the reference picture quite often. What I'm not going to do is fall into the trap of trying to copy every damn detailed shade and colour. I'm just going to use the basics so as the picture will stay on track, because you'll find if you try and copy every little detail and shadow and tone, you could start making your job a lot harder. Okay, now down here I've got all the darker tones, so now I want to go to the next tone, this one here. I've cleaned my brush. Now this other extra bit here is a bit darker, so we'll whack that in. I'm bringing it to that colour. I want to bring it to that colour, right? Just like that. Then I want to tiptoe it through his ears, tiptoe it through the tulips there. There we go. Now what I want to do is have another brush on hand to blend those through. Because these are still wet, they're blendable. Look at that. Just blending it through. So we're getting the value changing over here, the way it would in the photo. Wipe your brush. See, I still feel like I'm doing a tutorial. Okay, I'm just looking for some other features around that can be added on and blended, just like that. I feel like I'm still blending a cloud, but it's a different colours and it's a different picture. But it's the same principle in my mind. I've added another darker value now, the other darker value I had going there. And I've put that on. I've wiped the little blending brush and I'm sort of blending that where it's got to go appropriately. That's okay. I feel this is going to be quite a time-consuming painting, but now we need some darker values right along the edge of the ear here. So down here, I'll wipe my brush on the towel. I'll pick up the darker one now, and we'll start getting this blended and faded out there. So I'm doing it in layers, I find. Blend that out so it's nice and soft. And then I'm going to find that darker colour, and there are some bits and pieces within the ear that are darker, that create the shape of the inside of a cat's ear. Just adding some depth into this hole in his ear. Finding out where the pieces are on his profile picture. Not his profile picture, his reference picture. It's working out what's the darkest. Alright, I've mixed up a lighter value just to get the edge of his ear done. It's a lot lighter. And around here. Well, it's quite windy outside today. This outside area here, I will block the outside edge of this in, so I'm not worried if I go too messy on the edge here, because when I do the background I'll be able to close that into its proper shape. So we got highlight here, and where else have we got highlight coming over? It's always good if you can get your highlights over your darks. There's some in here. I'll wait till I get more darks done. Now we have some, what I'd like to do is tear this into there a bit, just like that. What I want to try and do with this is capture that furry look. So I want to tease that into there. Like I said in the beginning of the video, it's not really a tutorial, this one. It's just doing a request. I've been requested by so many people, so forgive me if I'm not really explaining everything. I'm just going along with my ways I feel I can do the best of this portrait. I'm not saying anything in this video is how it should be done. That's just how I will do it. So it might be a longer than normal video, bear with me. And we got just the slightest. What I'd like to do is get that other mid-tone colour, because I find myself doing a colour portrait, you got that many colours on your palette, and filming a video on its own is a feat in itself. Then to put all those colours into descriptions and talk about it. Alright, we're getting there. Okay, I'm using my black and raw umber for the darker colours of his fur. I didn't want just black. So I'm looking at the picture, working out this is going to blend into that, so I can softly blend that into that. Because I want to achieve a fur look. So what I'm going to do in my mind, when I had a look at this picture, I thought, well, the colours I'm using for his fur, lighten those colours up, create a highlight of that colour and tick a lot of little hair-like lines into it. So I'm going to see how that works for me today. See, so this is dark, but it's not black, which is what I didn't want. So I'm sort of teasing it into those other colours there. I'm not just stopping it. And it's going to have some... The fur will be the last bit. Okay, this is the fun bit. So all this up here is pretty much the darker fur. Now I'll bring this around because all that's dark there. I hope you can hear me all right. Now this is all the dark bits here. This canvas board that I'm painting on, I haven't done nothing to it. I didn't prime it up or nothing. Now this is a big, thick, brindle part of his hair colour here, which goes all the way up to there. See, I'm not even looking at that reference picture, because I find myself, when looking backwards and forwards, that's where you start tripping up and making a painting. It could look all right, but to an experienced eye, you could sort of see bits of crookedness and trip-ups. And if you're going to copy something, copy it by all means, but just copy it as a reference. And there's lots of little broken up bits here. I want to make his eye pop. Steve's got a beautiful eye. What's going up here? A bit more dark up here. Bear with me, people. You asked for this, so I'm giving it to you, but it's going to be quite a process, so I need a bit of a refreshment. Oh, yeah, I'm getting my paints mixed up. I'll just show you here down my palette, because when you're watching a tutorial and they're showing you their palette, it's all arty, isn't it? It's stuff to look at. You're not just looking at the painting. You're looking at the process, the procedure, the colours, the mess. You know what I love about art? When you see all bent tubes in the background and it's all the paint's over everything. I crack a fat over art. I love it. It's beautiful. So anyway, we've got his ear done. Come down to the palette here, right down here. Okay, and I've got my colours slowly mixing up. I've sprayed it with water to keep them moist. I'm trying to get all the detail in this ear out the way so I can move on. So I'm adding more depth where it needs to be added, so I can work my hand across the canvas. Where are we? We got some tight bits in here, and we got some darky bits in here. Sometimes on a picture, when you're doing a painting, it might not have a light or a dark area there, but it pays to put it there to create the art in that picture. I've done that a few times. Okay, I get that about there. There is this colour as well around his eye, so I better get that in there. Bring it on down there. That way I can make his eye over that real nice and sharp, the way I intended it in my mind to go. And that's about it for now, for there. He's got some, what's going on here? That's all. Okay. Alright, I'm picking up the other colour that I want to use for his brindley pieces here. So we've got all this in there. Now let's see if we can blend that into there. Have I let it dry too much? Yeah. Well, what I'll do then is I'll quickly get this in there. That's where that's going. And then I'll get the dark again and tamper them together. Because these are, now I've wiped that brush that I'm blending with, so I can just get a softer transition of those two. Because once I put those highlighted hairs over this, I feel it's going to give it that look that I've been looking for. Pretty much over here. And we get the darker colour again and go over that. Then we get this one again and come back into there, merge them. I want to wipe that brush and blend that into there. Get some more of that dark onto that brush so we can blend those two colours. Pick up that light one again. This is going to have highlight there, so I'm not too fussed about that on his eye. Now if I can stab these darker colours back where they belong. I've got a bit more around here. Alright, he's got a bit of a yellowy, dirty, stainy bits coming out from here now. That's got to blend into there. So I want to get this scratched into about this area here. And it's going to sort of fade away to there. Alright, so that's it there. Get it in. I'll grab my blending brush, get some of the darker colour here, push it on, wipe it, and now I'm going to blend those two in together. So it's, like I've said before in other paintings, it's a soft meeting. Yeah, there we go, bit of a soft meeting there. Wipe the brush. I might get a bit of white in that, because it's got to have white here going into that dirty neck. Steve, you've got a dirty neck. I'll put the paint on, see, then I'm wiping it off that brush. It's like a little blending brush. And then I'm back on here and getting it in the, see there how when I touch it, it's putting paint there? To me, I've got to wipe it a bit more just so that doesn't happen. Blend it. Now I've got to get this chocolatey colour back, because in the picture it doesn't look like that. So we'll get that back, yeah. And we've created that. I'll just show you in the picture. I've created this sort of area here. I'm quite happy with it at the moment. It's coming along reasonably similar to the picture. I want it, the colours are going to be similar so long as I'm catching Steve's features. Yous don't know Steve the way I do. When I look at Steve, if I see another cat, I don't see Steve in it, but I see Steve in him. There's cats similar to Steve. All you pet owners out there will know what I mean. So I want to catch what I see as Steve in this painting as well, in his expression and his eyes, and just that tone of his mouth. I've mixed up his nose colour with skin tone and primary red, and then I'll get the darker bits with some burnt sienna. So I'm looking at the photo there, and it's pretty much light pink all here. To about white there, so I need to get this on there like that. Where else is it? It's coming down here. Now I'm going to wipe that brush, pick up some white, because all this is white, and then start merging that into there until we get a hope my head's not in the way. No. So that's pretty much white down here, and that's blending into the pink. So I've blended that into the pink there, but I don't want it like a line. So I'm wiping that brush, and I'm going to come back and tassel them together. See? And out here is sort of going to come tassely down there as well. Okay, this is all white up here as well. Now this white that I'm putting on, I've slightly stained it with that reddy pinky colour, because in any painting with your whites, you want them slightly stained. The reason being, you can come back and highlight certain areas in pure white, and man, it just pops. Now I'm going to tassel that into that there. That's the thing about portraits, everything's tasseling it together. Now this colour here, I'm going to quickly get some on my brush and tassel it into there. So we'll grab some of that one again. Not too much. I'll put it on the brush and wipe it off, just so as our bits are tasseling into each other like that. Because that's how it is on Stevie's head. Wipe the brush because I can feel it starting to wash everything. I've wiped the brush. And there we go. I can get that white now and put it in there the way it should look. I'll get this back here. I'll tassel that into that tasseled area, just so it's gradual. Okay, you can see what I've done there. And there's just he does have a certain dark bit there to create his frown. Right, now I want to fix this white up now because it was a bit, you can see some lines underneath it, so I want to kind of layer that over that tassel bit. There we go. Now this has to be, his eye's got to blend into there. Where's a bit of dirty, just the slightest dirty bit of white, just so as I can create this sort of shadow in his hair there. Alright, we'll get this nose done now. We'll add the depth into his nostril there. Very small detail, but it makes it up. I'm just mixing up some raw umber and white for his left side here. It's a different shadow tone. It's pretty much a grey, like a whitey washed. So that's pretty much tasseling in along there. It's quite tight but hairy across here. In here there's a bit of dirty grey hair, and up here before I do the actual whites. And we need a highlight of this colour coming around his skin here. I can highlight that later with some pure white. Get some of this darker colour back onto there. Put it on the brush. I've wiped it off the brush just so I can blend that into that colour. Wipe the brush. Get his tear duct blended in there, and put the dark back that I just washed out right back there. That way it's kind of blended into that colour I've just put on. And I could probably put this back. Alright, now this ear is having some dirty white highlighting just on the outer edge here. See, I've gone past my line, but that's alright. So I'll put a coat on, and then I'll put another coat on because it's very pale. Now I want to wipe that brush and just sort of get some of this in there like that. Just so that's not one solid colour. Alright, I'm filling in the white and these other colours, so I'm blending them as I go. Wipe the brush, get this white back up in there. I better wash that brush because I'm going to contaminate all my white. Get my white back on there and start blocking it in with the white. I'll bring the white down. I'll wipe the brush and I want to tease it into there. Just like that. Now I'm pretty much blocking him in with the slightest dirty white on everywhere. I'll still see my lines through here to do my shading. I'll get all the way down his leg there. Oh, I'll tell you what, I'm hanging out for a drink, hey. I'll block all this in. Now I'm going to get this white that I've quickly blocked in. I'm looking at the reference picture there and I'm trying to see where the shadow is. So I should have did a bit at a time. And we want that grey colour. So I'm picking that up now on my brush. And now I want all this sort of dark, because it's creating these I'll grab my other blending brush and I want to blend that white into that side of it. So we're coming around his paws. We're making his paws with that. And that's pretty much there. And now I've got to blend that with the white. Get some more over here. That's it. How's that looking in the monitor there? Now I've got to darken up some of these areas as well. So we'll grab some of that and darken it up again with some raw umber. And get the darker bits in there now. Tassel it around. Wipe my blending brush and I'll tassel it into there. I'll get some more on there, like over here. Wipe my blending brush. Blend that in. And all this white that I have got on here, I will come back with pure white and highlight it. Make it really sparkle and shine. Now we need this darker one I can see just in the middle of his paws here. Right on the edge where I'm going to have the background. Tassel that in, darken it up again, right in the guts of it. I'm just looking at the picture there, seeing where it needs some blending and shadows and whatnot. There's a bit up here. And I want it a bit darker. It's really dark here. And a little bit more. Really dark. Tassel that into there. Okay, I want to create his mouth. Some more white into there, it's a bit too much, that's it. Creating the shadow area of his mouth. And then I want to darken it up for the actual line that's there in the picture there. That's alright, he's got a bit of darkness over here. Alright, get some highlights happening again now. With white here. White there. What have we got there? We've virtually got a lot of white coming all the way up here. Alright, we'll try and blend this into some white over here, because he's got more white in his face here. And then we can start blending this into there. Blend those colours. White brush. And have a soft transition. Love soft transitions. Alright, what I might do, I've still got more detail, but I want to do his eye now. Well, Stevie Boy's coming along alright, so I'm going to get some sap green and yellow oxide and try and create that greeny eye that he has. But anyway, this is the part of the video where I'm just going to have a mouthful of my coffee, and you can put your mouse over that little picture of mine in the bottom right hand corner there and subscribe if you haven't already subscribed to my channel. And tell me what you think of Steve coming along. Oh. Yeah, so we'll get his eye done, alright? So get back over here. Now I'm going to start with the yellow oxide and map in his eye colours here. So what I'll do, so as I don't get any stuff getting transparent, I'll paint the whole eye. I'm going to paint the whole eye in this yellow oxide. And then I can tease the green into it. Bit there nice and sharp, if anything. Beautiful. Right, now I'm going to pull those lumps out of it, like that. Now he's always green, so it's sort of spearing into all of this yellow oxide. I'll wipe the brush and reload it again. Coming around here. Now I want to blend. I've wiped the brush. I want to blend this green into there a little bit better so it's a soft merge. Yeah, look at that, beautiful. And then I'll bomb up the colour again. Where's that green? That green's coming all the way to the edge here. Just like so. That's pretty much it. Now we'll darken that up. Oh, Steve's at the door wanting to come in. What I'm going to do is I'm going to blow dry that eye. Alright, I've dried that. Now we'll find his eye again. Darken up some of this. I don't want it too dark, but see how I've dried that and it was allowing me to stop that from mudding up. Now I've mixed some white and put it on my brush, and I wiped it off my brush so I can just sort of smoke that up a bit, like that. Maybe get something over here. Now he's got a iris. Let's get that iris in there. So where is it? It's coming down like that. Now I just want to put the reflection in his eye. So he's got about 3 little bits there. Well, let's get the head of that brush chiseled nicely. I've got one coming up here. And another one coming up here. Oh, I know why they're that shape. It's the blinds. And we've got a square there. I've got to do the background before anything else now, because I've got a lot of fine hairs and whiskers. Where are we? I'm just going to give you an idea that comes over it, and I don't want to do the background of the whiskers and then have to come back and patch them up over it. So we're going to, I thought about it, I was going to marble up the background in sort of like a green dark colour, but black is not a bad colour for a background on something to make your picture pop. So you'll get an idea. I've done it in quite a few paintings actually, where I've done portraits and I just sit them on a background, a black background, and they pop. And the background can be brush strokes, textured. So we'll get some over here done. This is just carbon black. See now, as you can see, the black that was in the picture, I mixed up that other colour so it allows it to be distinguished from the black background. And this black will cut in the picture and start giving it its final shape. I could see my line there. Some of this back into the black there, just so it's a transition, because this is supposed to be dark here. There we go. Some white. wipe the brush and blend that down into there. And then grab the black and bring the black back up into that. Stop, wipe the brush, your blending one, and blend that into there. Just so we got that transition of the shadow the way it is in the picture. It makes sense of making his foot the way it is. I'm using my white paint pen. It's got a 1mm tip on it, and I'm using it to get all the hairs in his ears. I'll see down here, I was using the brush, my finest brush, but it's not quite fine. Where are we? God, I just don't know where to start with these hairs, do you? So I'm going to get quite a few hairs in his ears here. I won't do them all on camera. And then I'll come back and show you. And we'll be able to get all these little ones ticked off in here as well, a lot better than a brush all around here. You know, I'm pretty sure there's proper brushes you can buy for doing nice fine hair. If I was doing a lot of these type of paintings, it'll pay to invest in one, but work out what you're painting at home, and if you're doing a lot of the same type, buy brushes and hardware that accommodate that style. Don't try and have everything in your basket. Just have what you need. Get what you want is what your kids think, but you got to teach them, get what you need, not what you want. All right, this is coming all around over here, and he's also got some long whiskers. He's got one coming all the way up here. Stevie boy's got some long whiskers. See these pens, they're brilliant. He's got hair at the tip of his ears here as well. All this hairy bit here. Where's another? He's got bits of hair coming out here. And then he's got a beautiful, hang on, I'll get all these hairs on there. I think this is my take on how you can do fur. Now he's got a whisker out there. He's got about 2 up here. And then he's got about 3 coming up here parallel. Like that. I think I might get something over here a bit. We're almost getting there. I've got to get his whiskers on now. These pens are brilliant. If you haven't got one, get yourself one. I'm using a 1mm. It's a Posca. I've had it for quite a while. Now he's got some hairs coming down here as well. And then he's got some hairs coming off his arm here, giving it that hairy look. Where are we about down here on the, going by the picture. But I'll go by how this picture's looking, where I think it should go. And he's got some, you want to make sure the surface you're painting these on are pretty dry, because if you start ruining your tip, you sort of wish you never did. This is just giving the edge some nice furry feel about it. Just finishing off over here, this ear's got quite a bit of hair coming out of the ear, and then into the black. Look at that, this pen is marvellous. Get yourself one. If I had to do this with a brush, they would be all different thicknesses and just not quite what you want. And that's it. See, so my take on fur, probably do the fur and then put the hair pieces in it like that. See, I've done it all on his feet here and everywhere into there. And squinting your eyes at it, it's sort of given it that furry look without it being a big colourful blob. In there, all in here. Different. But if anything, I haven't got 101 different coloured pens. This colour, I would highlight that colour and use it, but this pen's just white. But if it was the highlighted colour, say like of this caramel colour here that's going on and this browny grey colour here. Alrighty, that's pretty much my take on Steve. I'll just put an autograph on here somewhere. Where can I put it? I'll put it down here. Down here. Okay, we'll put a frame on that and see how young Steve looks. Not that he probably needs one. There you go, a portrait of Steve. I've captured his expressions, I feel. I've put it on a black background and I'm happy with that, okay? That's not too shabby, eh? Well, I hope you enjoyed watching this video of Steve's portrait being created, okay? Tell a friend if you like what I do, but if you don't, you tell everybody, okay? And be sure to check the link in the description below. That's my patrons page. You can become a patron and help support my content and help me be in front of the camera more often, okay? All the best, goodbye, good luck, and good on ya!